Commander Rella watched through the crystalline viewport as another research vessel docked at Outpost Helios. The Zonian scientists' iridescent scales shimmered with concern as she reviewed the latest refugee counts. Their peaceful species had never imagined becoming targets of the expanding Karnax Empire. The massive research station housed thousands of her people who had fled their colonies as the militant Karnax forces spread through the galaxy. The invaders showed no mercy, viewing other species as resources to be conquered and exploited. "Commander, unknown signatures detected at the edge of our sensor range," reported Lieutenant Dax, his fin-like sensory crests twitching. "Energy readings suggest warships." Rella's hearts quickened. "Show me." The holographic display revealed a fleet of angular vessels emerging from faster-than-light travel. Their black hulls seemed to absorb the light from Helios's twin suns. Even at this distance, the distinctive profile of Karnax dreadnoughts was unmistakable. "Battle stations," Rella ordered, her voice steady despite her fear. "Begin evacuation procedures immediately. Get non-essential personnel to the escape pods." The station's warning sirens echoed through its crystalline corridors as the crew rushed to their positions. The Zonians were scientists and explorers, their defensive capabilities limited to basic shields and point defense systems. Against a Karnax battle fleet, they stood little chance. "Multiple targeting locks detected," Dax reported. "They're charging weapons." The first volley of plasma torpedoes struck their shields, sending tremors through the station's structure. Rella gripped her console as damage reports flooded in. Shield capacity had dropped by 40% from a single barrage. "Shields won't survive another direct hit," the engineering chief called out. "We need to reroute power from non-essential systems." Rella made a decision that would change the fate of her people. She activated the quantum communicator, broadcasting on all frequencies. "This is Commander Rella of Zonian Outpost Helios. We are under attack by Karnax forces. Our station houses thousands of civilian refugees. We request immediate assistance from any vessels within range. Please help us." The message repeated into the void as more torpedoes impacted their failing shields. The Karnax methodically targeted their critical systems: power distribution nodes, shield generators, weapon emplacements. They had earned their reputation through brutal efficiency. "Commander, small craft launching from the enemy fleet," Dax reported. "Boarding parties. Security teams to all critical sections," Rella ordered. "Hold them as long as you can. Get the remaining civilians to the escape pods." The station shuddered as boarding pods punctured its outer hull. The Karnax ground forces were as ruthless as their ships. Heavily armored warriors augmented with cybernetic enhancements. Their heavy weapons would tear through the station's internal defenses. "First wave of escape pods away," the evacuation coordinator reported. "But the Karnax are targeting them." Rella watched in horror as enemy fighters moved to intercept the fleeing pods. Her people would be slaughtered if help didn't arrive soon. She repeated her distress call with growing desperation. The response came from an unexpected source. A massive vessel emerged from faster-than-light travel between the station and the Karnax fleet. Its sleek hull gleamed silver in the starlight, bristling with weapon systems unlike anything Rella had seen before. "This is Captain Marcus Wade of the UES Sentinel," a calm voice responded on their channel. "We received your distress call, Commander. Hold on. Help has arrived." The human warship's initial salvo caught the Karnax completely by surprise. Rail-mounted kinetic weapons accelerated projectiles to relativistic speeds, tearing through enemy shields. Precise energy weapon strikes disabled their engines and weapons with surgical accuracy. "Unknown vessel, this is not your concern," the Karnax commander transmitted. "Leave now or be destroyed." "I'm afraid we can't do that," Captain Wade replied. "Where I come from, we don't stand idle while innocents are threatened. Commander Rella, get your people to safety. We'll handle these bullies." The Sentinel demonstrated why humanity had survived countless challenges on their path to the stars. Their tactics were unpredictable, their technology refined through centuries of innovation. The Karnax commanders, accustomed to easy victories, found themselves facing an enemy that refused to follow their expectations. As the battle raged, more escape pods launched from Helios. The Sentinel's point defense systems created a protective screen, intercepting incoming fire while their main batteries kept the Karnak's fleet occupied. For the first time, Rella felt hope kindle in her hearts. Several enemy vessels are withdrawing, Dax reported with amazement. They've never retreated before. The remaining Karnak ships pulled back, their formation in disarray. The Sentinel had bloodied them badly in their first encounter, destroying 3 vessels and disabling several others. But Rella knew this was only the beginning. "Captain Wade," she transmitted, "my people owe you a tremendous debt. But the Karnaks never stop. They'll return with greater numbers." "Then it's fortunate you've made some new friends, Commander," Wade replied. "Humanity has experience dealing with bullies. If you're willing, I believe our peoples have much to offer each other." As rescue operations began, Rella knew this day marked a turning point. Her people had found unlikely allies in humanity, a species that combined technological innovation with an unshakable determination to protect the innocent. Together, they might stand a chance against the Karnak's empire. The battle for Outpost Helios was over, but a new chapter in galactic history was just beginning. The medical bay aboard the UES Sentinel hummed with activity as Dr. Samira Patel moved between injured Zonians, her experienced hands adapting human medical techniques to their alien physiology. Commander Rella watched in fascination as the doctor's holographic diagnostics mapped the crystalline patterns flowing beneath Zonian skin. "Your biological structure is remarkable," Samira noted, studying the readings. "The way your crystalline components interact with organic tissue, it's unlike anything we've encountered." Rella's scales shifted color with curiosity. "We evolved in harmony with the crystal formations on our homeworld. They're as much a part of us as your bones are to you. And you've integrated this crystalline technology into your infrastructure," Captain Wade observed, entering the medical bay. His uniform still showed scorch marks from the battle. "Those weren't just decorative structures in your station." "No," Rella confirmed. "The crystals channel and store energy, strengthen our buildings, enhance our sensors. But we never thought to weaponize them." Wade's expression grew thoughtful. "Sometimes the best defense requires looking at peaceful technology in new ways." Lieutenant Commander Jasmine Rodriguez, our tactical officer, has some ideas she'd like to discuss. In the Sentinel's conference room, holographic displays showed the extent of Karnak's expansion across the sector. Jasmine highlighted their attack patterns with practiced efficiency. "They're methodical," she explained. "Each conquest follows the same template: isolate, overwhelm, occupy. But that predictability can be turned against them." The tactical officer manipulated the display, overlaying energy readings from the recent battle. "Their shields are impressive, but inflexible. They rely on brute force rather than adaptation. Your crystalline technology, Commander Rella, might be the key to getting past them." "How so?" Rella's sensor crests twitched with interest. "Your crystals don't just store energy. They redirect it," Jasmine continued. "If we could integrate them into our weapon systems, we might be able to bypass their shields entirely." The discussion was interrupted by urgent alerts. Long-range sensors detected multiple Karnak's battle groups converging on nearby Zonian outposts. They were accelerating their offensive, perhaps spurred by their recent defeat. "They're attacking simultaneously," Wade observed grimly, "trying to overwhelm any potential response. The nearest outpost is Arcos Station," Rella said, her scales paling. "Another research facility, now housing refugees. They won't stand a chance." Wade straightened, decision made. "Then we better work fast. Dr. Patel, coordinate with the Zonian medical team. See if their crystal technology can be safely integrated with our systems. Jasmine, I want defense options using their sensor capabilities. We've got hours at most." The next day became a blur of innovation as humans and Zonians worked together. Engineering teams modified the Sentinel's weapons, installing crystalline matrices that amplified their energy output. Dr. Patel's research led to improvements in their shield harmonics, while Jasmine developed new tactical programs incorporating Zonian sensor technology. Energy output increased by 40%, reported Chief Engineer Thomas Reyes, his dark eyes bright with excitement. The crystals don't just amplify our weapons, they make them more efficient. Better still, the energy signature is completely different, Jasmine added. The Karnax won't recognize our weapons until it's too late. The modifications were barely complete when they arrived at Arco Station. 3 Karnax dreadnoughts were already in position, their weapons charging. The station's shields flickered under the initial barrage. Battle stations, Wade ordered. Let's show them what humanity and Zonian innovation can do together. The Sentinels' first shot from their modified weapons pierced straight through a dreadnought's shields, the crystalline energy matrix bypassing their defenses completely. The Karnax responded with overwhelming force, but their attacks were predictable. Their targeting computers can't get a lock, Jasmine reported with satisfaction. The crystalline sensor baffles are working perfectly. The battle demonstrated the power of combined technologies. The Sentinels' enhanced weapons disabled 2 dreadnoughts while their improved shields absorbed punishment that would have crippled them before. The remaining Karnax vessel retreated, its command staff clearly shaken by this unprecedented defeat. As rescue operations began at Arco Station, Captain Wade received an urgent transmission from Earth Command. Humanity had made its decision. They would not stand idle while another species faced extinction. A task force was being assembled, but it would take time to arrive. Until then, we're the front line, Wade told his assembled crew and Zonian allies. But we've proved something important today. The Karnax aren't invincible. They can be beaten when we work together. Rella's scales shimmered with determination. My people will share everything we know about their tactics, their technology. Together, we might save not just the Zonians, but all the species threatened by their empire. The alliance forged in battle was just the beginning. As humans and Zonians continued to combine their strengths, they would soon discover that defeating the Karnax would require more than just superior technology. It would take the best qualities of both species, human determination and Zonian wisdom, to end the threat once and for all. Deep within the Sentinel's engineering bay, Thomas Reyes studied the pulsing crystalline matrix with intense focus. The Zonian crystals had been successfully integrated into their power systems, but he knew they had barely scratched the surface of their potential. The energy conversion rates are remarkable, he told Dr. Samira Patel, who monitored the biological readings of their Zonian volunteers. But look at these harmonic patterns. There's something we're missing. Commander Rella placed her scaled hand against the crystal formation, her natural bioluminescence synchronizing with its pulses. Our ancestors believed the crystals held memories of creation itself. We learned to communicate with them, to guide their growth, but never to unleash their full power. Lieutenant Commander Jasmine Rodriguez entered the lab, her tactical display projecting the latest Karnax fleet movements. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast. They're adapting their strategies, coordinating their attacks more effectively. The holographic map showed multiple Karnax battle groups converging on strategic points throughout the sector. Their initial defeats had only made them more dangerous, forcing them to evolve beyond their usual rigid tactics. There's a pattern here, Captain Wade observed, studying the display. All their supply lines lead back to the Crimson Nebula. We always assumed it was impassable due to the radiation, but what if that's exactly why they chose it? Samira's eyes widened as she reviewed her medical data. The Karnax we examined from the damaged ships, their cybernetic augmentations weren't just for combat. They've modified themselves to survive extreme radiation environments. The revelation sparked an idea in Thomas's mind. He manipulated the crystal matrix, adjusting its resonance frequencies. Commander Rella, you said your crystals can store and redirect energy. What about radiation? Working together, the human and Zonian teams made a breakthrough. The crystals could be tuned to absorb and channel radiation, potentially allowing a ship to navigate the nebula safely. But more importantly, they could redirect that energy as a weapon. The Karnaks have built their empire on overwhelming force, Wade said during the mission briefing. But they've never faced an enemy that could turn their own strength against them. The modifications to the Sentinel were extensive. Crystalline arrays were integrated throughout the hull, designed to absorb the nebula's radiation and convert it into usable energy. The weapon systems were recalibrated to channel this power, creating effects that could bypass even the strongest shields. We've also adapted the Zonian sensor technology, Jasmine reported. The crystals can detect subtle energy variations that our normal systems would miss. If there's a base hidden in that nebula, we'll find it. Thomas led the engineering teams in installing the final components. The crystal matrix isn't just an add-on anymore, he explained. It's becoming a true hybrid of our technologies. The ship is essentially learning to think in new ways. The improvements were tested just in time. A Karnak strike force emerged from hyperspace, clearly intent on eliminating this persistent threat to their expansion. But the Sentinel was no longer the same ship that had first answered the Zonian distress call. Multiple targets, closing fast, Jasmine announced from her tactical station. Their weapons are charged, but something's different about their energy signatures. The enemy ships launched their attack, but the crystal-enhanced shields absorbed the impact. Energy flowed through the modified hull, feeding directly into their weapon systems. The Sentinel's response was devastating. Beams of redirected energy cut through the Karnak ship's defenses like they weren't even there. Their own weapon fire was caught in crystalline fields and turned back against them. It wasn't just a battle, it was a demonstration of what two species could achieve together. Their remaining ships are retreating, Jasmine reported with satisfaction. And we've gathered valuable data about their new tactical systems. In the aftermath, Wade gathered his crew and Zonian allies in the ship's conference room. The success of their hybrid technologies had proven what was possible, but they all knew it was just the beginning. The task force from Earth will arrive soon, he announced. But we've already shown that victory isn't just about numbers or firepower. It's about innovation, adaptation, and trust between allies. Rella's scales shimmered with agreement. My people have always sought knowledge, understanding. We never imagined our peaceful technologies could be used to defend ourselves. You've helped us see new possibilities. The crystalline modifications throughout the ship pulsed with steady light, a visible symbol of what humans and Zonians had created together. But their greatest challenge still lay ahead, taking the fight directly to the heart of the Karnak's empire. As they began planning their next move, Thomas and the engineering team continued to refine their hybrid systems. Every test revealed new potential, new ways to combine their technologies. The Karnaks had relied on brute force for too long. Against the united creativity and determination of humans and Zonians, their empire would soon face its greatest test. The Crimson Nebula loomed before the Sentinel, its swirling clouds of radiation-charged gas casting an eerie glow across the bridge. Captain Wade stood at the viewport, watching the deadly beauty of the phenomenon that had hidden the Karnaks for so long. All systems ready, Thomas reported from engineering. The crystalline matrix is already absorbing ambient radiation. Power levels are climbing steadily. The enhanced sensors, combining human precision with Zonian crystal technology, penetrated the nebula's outer layers. Data streams showed safe corridors through the chaos, passages that the Karnaks had used to build their hidden empire. Multiple structures detected, Jasmine announced from tactical. Massive construction facilities, weapons platforms, they've turned the entire nebula into a fortress. The Sentinel glided silently through the radioactive storms, its modified hull channeling the deadly energy harmlessly away. The crew watched in awe as the scope of the Karnak's operation became clear. Shipyards stretched for kilometers, producing the vessels that had terrorized the sector. They never needed to adapt their tactics, Wade realized. With this kind of production capacity, they could simply overwhelm any resistance. Rella's scales darkened with determination. Until now, the radiation that protects them can become our greatest weapon. The ship's crystalline systems hummed with absorbed energy as they approached the central command station. It was a massive structure of black metal and pulsing energy cores, the heart of the Karnak's war machine. Enemy patrols on standard vectors, Jasmine reported. They're not expecting anyone to reach this far. The first sign of their presence came when a Karnak's patrol ship passed within visual range. The enemy vessel's sensors, calibrated for the nebula's interference, failed to detect the Sentinel's modified signature. Hold position, Wade ordered. Let's see what else we can learn before they know we're here. The tactical displays filled with intelligence data, supply routes, fleet deployments, command structures, everything they needed to understand how the Karnaks coordinated their conquest of the galaxy. Then the alarm sounded. Multiple ships powering up, Jasmine called out. They've detected our sensor suites. The nebula erupted with activity as the Karnak's defense fleet mobilized. But this time, they faced an enemy that had turned their own sanctuary against them. Full power to the crystal matrix, Wade commanded. Show them what we've learned. The Sentinel's weapons released concentrated bursts of redirected radiation, each shot carrying the power of the nebula itself. Karnak's shields, designed to withstand conventional attacks, offered no protection against their own environment, turned into a weapon. Their command center is launching fighters, Jasmine reported. But their coordination is breaking down. They've never been attacked here before. Thomas's voice came over the comm. Captain, the crystal matrix is at maximum capacity. We can trigger a cascade reaction in the nebula's radiation fields. The decision took only a moment. Do it. Energy pulsed through the ship's crystalline systems, creating a ripple effect in the surrounding gas clouds. The radiation levels began to spike, overwhelming even the Karnak's enhanced protection. Their ships are retreating, Jasmine announced with satisfaction. The command center's shields are failing. The Karnaks sent a transmission, their usual arrogance replaced by desperation. How? This sector was impenetrable. You relied too much on your technological superiority, Wade responded. You never considered that other species might find different paths to power. The cascade reaction spread through the nebula, destroying the Karnak's production facilities and forcing their fleet to abandon their hidden fortress. In a single strike, the combined ingenuity of humans and Zonians had accomplished what neither species could have done alone. As they emerged from the Crimson Nebula, leaving the ruins of the Karnak's base behind, Wade gathered his crew. This isn't the end. They'll try to rebuild elsewhere, but today we've proven they can be beaten. Rella's scales shimmered with hope, and we've shown that strength comes in many forms. The Karnaks sought to dominate through force. Together, we've created something far more powerful, understanding between species. The Sentinel's crystal-enhanced systems pulsed with steady light as they set course to rejoin the arriving Earth fleet. The battle for the nebula was over, but the alliance forged between humans and Zonians would reshape the galaxy's future. The combined Earth fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Zonian space, dozens of warships modified with crystalline technology. Captain Wade watched from the Sentinel's bridge as humanity's response to the Karnak's threat assembled in perfect formation. Fleet Command acknowledges our tactical data, Jasmine reported. They're implementing the hybrid systems across all ships. The intelligence gathered from the Crimson Nebula had revealed the full extent of Karnak's operations. Their empire was vast, but without their hidden production facilities, they were vulnerable. More importantly, their rigid hierarchy had been thrown into chaos. Multiple Karnak's battle groups detected, announced Jasmine. They're gathering for a final push against the Zonian homeworld. The enemy fleet was massive, hundreds of ships strong. Even without their nebula base, the Karnaks were determined to crush this unprecedented resistance. But they were about to face something they'd never encountered, a truly united opposition. All ships, battle formations, Wade ordered. Remember your training with the crystal systems. Let them make the first move. The Karnaks attacked with their usual overwhelming force. waves of ships launching simultaneous strikes. But this time, their targets were ready. The modified human fleet absorbed their assault, crystalline shields redirecting energy between vessels to strengthen their defenses. Now, Wade commanded, "Show them what we can do together." The counterattack was devastating. Human tactical precision combined with Zonian crystal technology created weapons the Karnacs couldn't defend against. Their rigid formations broke apart as ships were disabled by their own redirected energy. From the Sentinel's medical bay, Samira coordinated with Zonian healers aboard other vessels, using their combined medical knowledge to treat casualties from both sides. "Even their cybernetic systems can be repaired with crystal tech," she reported. "We can help them." The battle reached its climax as the Karnak's command ship launched a desperate assault on the Sentinel. But Thomas's engineering teams had prepared for this moment. The crystalline matrix throughout the ship pulsed with stored energy. "All power to weapons," Wade ordered. "Let's end this." The Sentinel's strike pierced straight through the command ship's defenses, disabling its systems without destroying the vessel. Across the battlefield, the remaining Karnak ships began powering down their weapons. "They're surrendering," Jasmine announced, surprise evident in her voice. "All of them." The transmission from the Karnak's command ship was unlike anything they'd heard before. Gone was the arrogance, replaced by something approaching respect. "You could have destroyed us," their leader stated. "Instead, you chose precision. Perhaps we have something to learn from this defeat." In the days that followed, representatives from Earth, the Zonian worlds, and the Karnak's empire met aboard the Sentinel. The ship that had started as a simple exploration vessel had become a symbol of what different species could achieve together. "The crystals show us paths we never imagined," Rella explained to the gathered delegates. "But it was human courage and determination that helped us walk those paths." Wade watched as former enemies began the long process of understanding each other. "The galaxy's changing," he observed. "The Karnaks sought to dominate through force. Instead, they've helped create something far more powerful: cooperation between species." The Sentinel's crystalline systems pulsed with steady light, a reminder that the greatest victories come not from destroying enemies, but from transforming them into allies. As the ship set course for new horizons, its human and Zonian crew knew they had written a new chapter in galactic history, one where diversity of thought and unity of purpose would light the way forward.